Hello everybody, welcome back. We are in a different location. We are in my office today. It's kind of a pretty day out, but it's like 50 degrees and I didn't want to be outside because I live in Michigan now, but I just moved and I'm from South Carolina where it's warm all the time, basically. So I'm still not used to the cold. 50 is cold, right? 50 is cold to me. That's okay. And it's actually, I was going to take advantage, somebody commented on my video about filming under over an overcast sky, which I thought, because it distributed the light more evenly and it didn't lead to contrast that was so high that it sort of deepened the blacks so much that you couldn't see shadows as much. And I think that's good advice. It's kind of blotchy, as you can see right through my window. There's light coming in through the window. But it was overcast, and so I thought about filming outside to take advantage of that. But we've got some lamps, we've got sunlight. I'm filming at 3 rather than when I normally film, which is at like 6 or 7. I couldn't even film at 6 or 7 now because it gets sunsets so early. So we're in my office. I apologize. I had to just take my monitor out and move some stuff away, and I'm sorry for some of the mess that you'll see, and you'll hear some children playing in the background, and I'm sorry about that as well, but that it is what it is. So I'm going to be reviewing the Zelos Horizons Horizons 39 dive watch. This line originally came out of their GMT watch, and it's got the dive bezel, not the 12-hour poor man's GMT bezel. This was a hot watch when it came out. I think it came out end of October 2020. So this is a long-term review because I bought it in March, and the guy who I bought it from had it, I think since November. And I think they only came with a 1-year warranty. The warranty was expired when I bought it. So it couldn't have been a 2-year warranty, right? Or else the warranty wouldn't even be up yet. So I think it was a 1-year warranty. He bought it in like November or something of 2020. So if I got it in, oh no, my dates are off. The warranty was expired. I do know that because I had to contact Zelos for service. That's part of the point of this review. There's some issues with this watch. And the warranty was expired. They still sent me a replacement part, which is fantastic. I wonder if they would have done more if the warranty hadn't been expired, but whatever. So yeah, this watch has been used for a couple of years. Almost 2 years. That's my point. And so there's a lot of reviews on YouTube of these watches. And so I'm thinking to myself, should I even do one? Should I even film a review? And I think that I should, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of reviews of the watch after it's been used for a couple of years. And I think that the value proposition changes after 2 years. This is an amazing watch at an amazing value when it launches. Okay, it launched at, I think, $450. Now you can get some new old stock on eBay, so they're new, but the retailer's been holding on to them for a couple of years, and they're jacked up to, I'll show it on the video, they're jacked up to $600, $599. Some SKUs are $699. Some SKUs are $750. The Rolex Explorer 2 homage type, right? The one with the 12-hour bezel that's white on white on white. That one is $750 new because it's been out of stock for a year and a half. New at $450 was a good deal. But when everything's working, right? When it's a brand new watch, but after you use it for a year or two and stuff starts breaking, you start to question whether that $549 or that $500 price point was a good deal. Part of the trouble, I think, with watches like this is the money, what you're paying for is the cool looking dial, the interesting materials, and the dial, right? That's the thing with Zelos. They have colorful dials. They have really cool dials, right? What is it? The Aurora is coming out. Let me see. Yeah, the Zelos Aurora, which is a titanium field watch. You've seen it blow up these small YouTube watch channels, and it looks fantastic. It looks great. It's made out of titanium. It's 38 millimeters. It's got a soft iron cage. It's 200 meters water resistant. Looks really cool. Got lots of dial options. I just checked on the Zelos website. It launched like, what, 4 days ago, 5 days ago? It's already sold out. All of them are sold out. So I don't blame them for charging what they're charging. All I'm saying is what you're paying for is the cool looking dial, not necessarily a high quality watch. And I know that sounds mean, but this watch has some issues. Sorry, I use this box for other things, but they've switched to an aluminum box or something? They switched to a different box. I'm sure you've seen these boxes, but this is what this one looks like. And it's really cool. It's a nice box. We've got this watch roll, which I don't use because it looks so cheap. I mean, the leather. I like the one that you get from what's it called? Dan Henry. I like the Dan Henry one better. Call me crazy. I like the Dan Henry one better. I generally use that one if I'm traveling. This one's okay, but it's just got this very glossy. Ugh. Anyway, here's the watch. Yep, you've seen it. It's made cameos in other videos. Let me turn this off. Sorry, I have a warm light and it's messing up how the watch really looks. So here it is. I tried to clean it off, but this is sort of an everyday watch for me. And there's been a couple of issues. Let me go over the specs of the watch first. So it is a 39 millimeter diver. I don't have the caliper things, and I'm sorry about that. But some watch review people were saying it's 12 millimeters thick. Some were saying it's 12 and a half. I don't know. It's around 12. Some were saying it's 43 millimeters lug to lug. Some were saying it's 44. Who knows what the truth? I don't know. It's small. It's a small, slim dive watch. It does have mail-in links, so you got to take that into account. Right there, they're protruding quite a bit further than the lugs, and again, I think the consensus watch review channel, when I was watching other reviews, because I can't measure it myself, and I don't think they would tell me on the website, 49 millimeters. Okay, so that extends it quite a bit. Generally, a 40 millimeter watch would have something like 47 millimeter lug width. And so this is going to have 49, which is long. So you guys asked me about this on some of the other videos. What is your wrist size? I was like, fine. I don't know. It's small. But I'll measure it. So here we go. Now, I don't know where you're supposed to put it, and I'm sure that there is an official way. But if I do it right below the knuckle, then I'm coming in at about 6.5 inches. Right? About 6.5 inches. Oh, that's at the knuckle. So 6.3. If I, right below the knuckle. The knuckle's right there, knuckle bone. So I would say 6.5 in the summer, 6.3 in the winter. Small. And I can pull off a 49mm lug width because it doesn't drape over the wrist. This is the difference between having a watch that is large in diameter and a watch that is long. As long as the lugs, and this is just my opinion, I don't know this. This may be different for you, but for me personally, if the lugs don't drape over the wrist, then it doesn't look like it's too big. However, even if the lugs don't drape over the wrist, if the diameter is, for me, I'd say 41 is too big. It doesn't matter how short the lugs are, it's just too big. I have an Orient Bambino that is 40.5. It's a Gen 2, so it's 40.5, and it's barely okay. I think it has like a 47.5 lug to lug. So that one barely works. I wish it were 36. I keep looking for an Orient 5S on eBay. I never see one, but I keep looking. I'd like to have a dress watch be about 36. But this works. If this were 40, 41, 42, it wouldn't work. Doesn't matter how short the lugs are. I just wouldn't like it. It wouldn't look good on this wrist. But I think that this watch fits. So if you have I'd say a 6.3 is the smallest you could probably get away, all the way on up to 7.5. If it's above 7.5, it probably is going to look a little diminutive. But the things that I really like about this watch is that it's slim, and the design language makes it look even slimmer than it is. So on. I know the light is too warm. I know that, and I apologize, but I like having warm lighting in my office, and I'm not going to change the bulbs just for this video. So you've got polished sides and then a brushed middle, and you've got extra width here underneath, but your eyes are drawn to the middle brushed section. And the polished sections, in my opinion, they work sort of like a mirror does. They make it look a little slimmer. The mirrored sections sort of disappear. Now, if you put a mirror in a room, of course, the mirror is going to make the room look a little larger. But if you put mirrored sections contrasting with brushed sections, then we tend to ignore the reflective section and just pay attention to the brushed section. So the effect that it creates is one of slimness. And so in addition to this watch actually being fairly slim, in general, it looks even slimmer than it is. But if you ignore that, and you just look at the watch itself, now it looks kind of chunky. It's got a little bit of a raised sapphire crystal, and it does protrude. The case back it's screwed down, and it does protrude a little. Proud of the mid case, but it looks slim, and it wears slim. It's really nice. It's not. I guess maybe if it were in more muted colors, you could call it dressy, but it's not really dressy. It's just slim. It understated maybe. Now, understated in that way. God, the colors aren't popping the way I want them to with these warm lighting. But the colors are nice. They're coming across a little muted. But you've got a fume dial, a textured dial. Polished indices. So it's dark blue going out to about a teal color. Lume on the indices, lume on the hands, lume on the seconds hand, a red tipped seconds hand. I assume that most of you watching this have already seen other reviews, and the other guys doing the review probably are going to do a fantastic job at giving you the specs and the features of the watch. I want to give you how it's hold up over time. The date window here is dark blue. It's not black. And the lettering, so it says 6, it should say 8. I'm wearing a few days. The lettering is blue as well. It's light blue. It looks kind of odd, actually. I wish it were white. Just go ahead and make it white. And the dark blue doesn't, it sort of matches the dark blue of that section of the dial. The date window is framed, which is nice. You don't always see that on a watch at this price range. It just says Horizons, 200 meters, 660 feet. So I like the design language. I like the colors, right? It's cool looking. It's refreshing. It's got texture. It has depth. And it does all of this without being big and thick. A lot of Zelos watches, the Swordfish and the Mako and some other, I haven't owned these watches personally, but just looking at them online, they're very muscular looking, right? They're very angular, they're large, boxy, sharp edges, and I don't really like that. I like this one. You have a, oh goodness, is this 120 click? I think it is. Let's check. You can hear the bezel action. It's not great. All right, this is supposed to be right at 12. So here's the first problem, okay? The bezel is not aligned. The dive bezel is not aligned with the dial. It's annoying, right? It's too far that way. And I can go back and I'll do it on the other side and you'll see. Okay, so there's too far on the other side. One click over. Now it's too far on the other one. So it's misaligned any way you look at it. I can try to pull it back the other way and maybe it'll look okay. But if you look over here, this indice is a little low. If you look over here, this indice is a little high. It's barely out of place, but it's noticeably out of place. And so if you have any sort of ADHD, stay away from, or OCD, stay away from this watch. You know, I mean, I notice it every time I look at it, but it doesn't bother me enough to not wear it. But I mean, yeah, you can have a $200 dive watch that won't do that. So the issues over time, one issue is that there is bleeding. So this has a sapphire insert bezel, which is cool, right? Scratch resistant, very shiny. There's a little scratch. You can see a little scratch right there. That was there when I got it. The anti-reflective coating is okay, but it's not great. I mean, you look at you can see all the reflections. I had a Christopher Ward diver that I bought for almost the same price, and it was like a Mark II 38 millimeter with a sapphire, with a ceramic bezel insert. And the crystal was a flat sapphire crystal with so much anti-reflective coating that there would never be this. I mean, it was really good. It was really enjoyable, and it was very different. There was a stark contrast between this. The other issue, let me see if I can zoom in enough so you can see it, and trust me, it is noticeable in person. The coloration, there's somehow water or something that's getting underneath the sapphire. See that? See how it's bleeding out a little bit? Let me see if I can get something to point. Right there. Right here. All along the sides. And it is, see this 30, the 30 minute? See how it's sort of, there's some discoloration right there. Same thing at 40. Not at 50 though. So it's not supposed to be like that. But it's at 40. This indice is bleeding. And you can see it at the beginning of the white section. I don't know why that's happening, but it's annoying. The other issue is this bezel action is loose. It's hard to tell on video, but it's loose. Now, watch at this price range, that's acceptable, I think. See how it's moving? It's acceptable for it to be a little loose. But this action got so loose that the spring underneath broke, and it wasn't unidirectional. It turned into a bidirectional bezel. It could just freely twist back and forth. This happened about 3 months after I bought it, where it gradually got looser and looser and looser, and then it just would freely go back and forth. So I contacted Zelos, and they sent me new springs. It took like 6 weeks, 5 weeks or something, but they sent me like 4 or 5 new springs. So then I had to pop this off, and that's where you see the carnage. See all those dents? That's from me. I tried to use a pry tool with microfiber cloth on top of it, but it didn't work, and so I had to go in there without a microfiber cloth, and that's why they're scratched up. So there's probably a tool for that. So I took the bezel off, replaced the spring, put it back on, and it worked for a while, but guess what? Now it's getting loose again. Now, by the way, the bezel was misaligned the day I bought it. It was misaligned the day I bought it. It was misaligned in the eBay pictures, and it was misaligned after I put it back on. So that wasn't as a result of me repairing it, and it's starting to get loose again. It also catches every once in a while. Sometimes if I go around, it'll like catch at a certain place, and you have to push harder to get it out. So the bezel is not fantastic, unfortunately. So misaligned bezel, issues with the bleeding into the bezel insert, and the action not being good. It doesn't sound great, and it eventually got loose enough to where I had to replace the spring, and I'm probably gonna have to do it again in the next couple of months, because I can feel it getting looser and looser every time I do this. And I don't fidget with this watch. I don't just turn it just to turn it. I don't actually turn it all that much, so it's not like an extreme use case scenario. It's just normal use over 2 years, and maybe that's to be expected in this price range. I would like to think that it wouldn't be at $500, $600. So now this bracelet, pros and cons. This is a good bracelet, and people have said that this is one of the best aspects of Zelos watches, and I agree. It is a good bracelet. It's got screwed links, solid end links. It looks good. It's brushed. Let's see if I can get closer. It's brushed with polished edges on either side. What is this, an H-link style? I'm not sure. And it's got their, so this I think was the first generation micro adjust. I could be wrong about this. They've changed it several times. It's got a bunch of scuffs on it. I like this version, at least the look of it, better than the newest version. The newest version of their clasp has circles. It's a circular button, and it looks a lot like the Omega Seamaster 300 series clasp, and I don't like it. I like this version better. This is more angular. It kind of matches the bracelet better, but anyway, you just press those to come out. Nice, what do you call this? Scissor mechanism. And here's the micro adjust down here. Come on, camera, focus. Now, this is also broken. It wasn't broken when I got it, just after regular use. So if I press it down, there, now it's down, now it's all the way. Now sometimes, when I want to press it down, like here, if I want to press it down, it won't go. I'm pressing as hard as it doesn't work. Okay? And it went on like this for a few weeks where I couldn't adjust it on the wrist, which is annoying. Because normally what you would do is you would put it on the wrist like this. You put it on and you go, oh, it's a little loose. And so then you just press it in, right? You want to just and tighten it. And that's what I could do on it. Now I can't. Now I have to take it off. First world problems, I understand. So there it is. I have to take it off. Won't go, won't go. I have to press it down really hard. Then I can get it to go. See, now it'll go. But if I just pull it all the way out, try to press it, won't go. Press it down. And it's not an issue of pulling this lever. You shouldn't have to pull this lever. See, if I pull this lever, it doesn't go. I have to pinch it, and then it'll work. See that? Now, sometimes on the last one, if I get it almost done, I can go the rest of the way. So, won't work, won't work. Let me pinch it one time. One time, if I don't pinch it, oh, there it goes. Okay, so now, sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it won't work. Pinch. I think that's 2 in. Now it goes the rest of the way in. So it's broken. It doesn't work right. And the only way I can get it to work is to pinch it. What this means is I can't adjust it on the wrist. Like, I can't tighten it on the wrist, which is fine. And it just means I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. I have to pinch this while I press it in. I'm sure that if I contacted them, they would probably send me a new clasp or even a new bracelet. Good for them. But it just begs the question, you've got, what now, 4 QC issues or 4 durability issues, depending on how you categorize them, that have popped up on this watch that, you know, significantly reduce the feeling of quality on this watch. Maybe, I think I might have put this bracelet on backwards. Whatever. I do like the bracelet in general. The other small, this is nitpicking, but just something to point out. If you look at this. All right, so you've got polishing on the inside matched with brushing. So that doesn't match. So that's a little annoying. I wish it were polished inside. But the brushing on the case, on the lugs here on the top, does not match the brushing on the bracelet. And I'm not even talking about direction, I'm just talking about the consistency. It's rougher here, it's finer here. Maybe it's not a big deal, depends, but there it is. That just tells you what it looks like. There's also just a little, you can see it if it plays with the light. Look at the end link on the bracelet. Don't pay attention to the scratches, that's not Zelos' fault, right? But the stamping process, or however they stamp out that last link, is a little bit shoddy, because you can see the waves in the end link. It's not stamped into shape. If it were stamped into shape better, it would look more like a real link than just a stamping process, because it's designed to flow in with the rest of the bracelet. But this last link kind of looks a little cheap to my eye. These are nitpicking, but so water resistant 200 meters, screw down crown, all that works fine. The Miota movement is fine. It's not super accurate. I don't have a time grapher. I think I once compared it to my phone or something, and it was maybe 30 seconds fast, maybe 45 seconds fast. I'm sure if I had it regulated or something, or serviced, then I could probably get it back down within spec. But all I know is this watch runs fast. And so what that means is I have to set it slow because it's gonna go run fast. The other slight disadvantage with this watch is because of the color and the style, in my personal opinion, it's harder to match this watch to other straps. Now, I've done it, and I'll show you some B-roll of this watch with other straps, but I generally wear it on the bracelet. Part of the reason is because I love the bracelet. The bracelet is great. It's solid, heavy feeling screwed links. It doesn't jingle a whole lot. It's got that micro adjust. Here is on, you've seen this strap before if you've watched any of my other videos. This comes from the Fairer. It's a Fairer strap. And it's a dense, heavy strap, and I think it goes with this watch fairly well. The strap, in my opinion, the strap, something like a leather strap, highlights the unique features of the dial better than a bracelet does. Maybe it was just because it was something different, and it made me sort of appreciate the watch a little bit more. And it makes this sort of these lugs that are, you know, elongated and sharp. It kind of is a cool effect. So there's that watch on a leather strap. You can also put it on a NATO style strap. All right, here it is on a best, I think, what is this website called? Best NATO straps, cheapestnatostraps.com or something. And this is a nice glow in the dark. So that is, it's not a strap monster. It's not something that you can pair with just anything. I don't even think it looks particularly good with leather in general. You're just going to want to put it on one of these straps or a bracelet. Again, this darn bezel. See, it's too far to the, well, it's too far over here. Now it's too far over there. That's annoying. I mean, this is stuff you'd find on a Seiko SKX, right? People still love those watches, I guess, so they didn't care. Or they could get past it. But it seems like an easy thing. There are a lot of watches for a lot less money that won't do that. The black one, and this is a cheap Amazon strap. So the strap quality is not fantastic. It's got that sort of ribbed, plasticky, I don't know what this is made of, nylon. But it pairs okay with black, and it pairs okay with white, and it pairs okay with a, with a bracelet. And that's pretty much all I wear it on. I wore it the other day with this strap, and it was okay. It worked okay. So yeah, so here's the deal. Even at launch price, I don't know if I would have paid for this. I mean, I bought it used for, what, $400, and would I buy it again at $400 knowing now what I know about the issues? I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have. Because I also have bought a Christopher Ward Trident Pro 600 and 38 millimeters that is a good deal thicker than this watch. But you can get it in blue, you can get it in red, you can get it in green. You have some color options. And I got it for, I think, $475, and it is just a completely different class of watch. I mean, it's just, it was, the QC was significantly better. The lume wasn't quite as good, but everything else was better. The finishing was better, as you would expect, because brand new, that watch was close to $1,000. The difference here is that because these watches are so popular, they hold their value better, which is ironic for a micro brand like this. The Christopher Ward ones don't hold their value as much because they don't have as unique designs. So in my opinion, the money is put into the QC in the Christopher Ward, whereas the money is put into the cool design with Zelos. But if I had to choose between paying what this watch costs now, which is $600, new old stock on eBay, or $600 to get a used Christopher Ward Trident 600 38 millimeter, or maybe a C63 or maybe they're retro skin divers, I would get the Christopher Ward. It would be a much better watch. It would have the same lume. I could get them in cool colors. It would be small. It wouldn't be as slim. It wouldn't have the dial texture that this does. That's for sure. But it would have a Salida movement. It would have much better finishing. The bezel wouldn't rattle like this. It wouldn't break. You know, I wouldn't have those issues. It won't line up. And the anti-reflective coating would be significantly better on the Christopher Ward. So, you know, it's not a bust. It's just something to keep in mind. So what do you guys think? What are some comps for this watch? What are some slim, you know, under 13 millimeters thick, under 40 millimeters with a cool looking dial? Or with a cool looking dial, like a textured dial, a colored dial, like this, that's 200 meters or more water resistant. I struggle to think of any. So what else would you buy if you're in the market for a watch like this? I think this is how Zelos has cornered the market. In a good way. I mean, they're providing something that other brands are finding it hard to replicate. So I think the value proposition can still be strong, just realize that the value is not necessarily going into the finishing. And as long as you're okay with that, then you can both understand why the Aurora that came out 4 days ago is sold out on their website, and you can understand why this watch can still be very popular and still be new old stock on eBay going for $150, $100 more than it originally cost, new on the website. And that's because people like the colors. So there you go. My philosophy tends to be save up more, buy less, buy more expensive. That's why I like Fairer. I like Fairer's their QC is good. I like Christopher Ward. Their QC and their finishing is good. They provide the levels of finishing that you would typically find on watches costing several times more. But you don't pay for the brand name. Like if you buy an Omega, then yeah, the finishing's going to be good, but you're going to be paying $4,000 for a watch that has the same level of finishing as a Christopher Ward. And the Christopher Ward is $1,200. So I'd rather buy the Christopher Ward. Resale value be damned. And that's kind of how you have to look at it, because Christopher Ward watches drop like a stone after they're new. And that's why I was able to pick one up. All right, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. And I'll have some more videos coming out soon. Thanks.